Hi, I'm Tony from Isle of Mull, and today we're going to be talking about boots. This is probably the most asked question when people are booking on is what footwear they can bring and what's suitable for walking in Scotland. Now, there's lots of different types of boots you can get, and when you go into a shop to be fitted, it's hard to pick the right one. It's important to tell the person in the shop where you're going to be walking. So if you're walking in the Highlands, you need a relatively rugged boot. So these first ones we'll look at are Gore-Tex. They're quite lightweight, haven't got much tread on the bottom, even though it's a decent sole. It's very flexy, and I would say these aren't really suitable. After walking in the bog for half an hour, these will wet through, even though they're Gore-Tex, and they give very little ankle support. The next type of boot is material again, so not a leather boot, Gore-Tex lined again. These are much stiffer sole, but the uppers, because they're not a stiff leather outside, they'll be nice and comfy, but I find that they will let water in on a long wet walk, and even in summer in Scotland we're walking through a lot of bogs a lot of the time. So they're good, but they're a bit of a compromise. Good grippy soles, quite good on rocky, bouldery conditions, but not good for general wandering around in the hills. The next boots, these are what I usually wear. So these are a good leather upper, Gore-Tex inside, very stiff. They're not the best on wet, slippy rocks, but it's a good compromise. These are actually better on a wet, slippy rock because they're slightly more flexible. But for everything, these work pretty well, and these are my go-to boot. There is a stiffer boot, which is these. Now these are very stiff. You can't bend the toes at all, and these are a winter mountaineering boot. These are good because you can fit crampons to them and go winter mountaineering. Pretty useless for the rest of the year, I must admit. They're too stiff, they're a bit uncomfortable. They do keep your feet nice and warm, but the trade-off with that is the fact that you can't really feel what's underneath your feet, so you will fall over quite a bit in the slippery, boggy conditions. Now boots, I would always say you should go and get yourself fitted properly in a shop and try on as many pairs as you can. These fit me really well, so I just tend to buy these every time. But there are other similar boots out there with the same. It's a 3-season boot, but it's probably verging on the 4-season boot because of the stiffness of the sole and the warmth that the leather gives. Now when you're trying on boots, the most comfortable ones in the shop is probably these. So nice and flexy, they're like wearing a pair of trainers, but they're not the right answer. These probably will feel a little bit uncomfortable, but don't be put off. Now with these, a lot of the manufacturers give you a little insole like this, and it's just a bit of foam, and I find them absolutely useless. I get very bad heel pain and a sore spot underneath my toes. So first thing I do is chuck them away, and then I buy some Superfeet. Now there are Superfeet do a range of insoles to suit most foot shapes. I usually use the Superfeet green, which I found has worked really well for many years. They've just brought out these, which are their Trailblazer, which should, according to their blurb, give much more comfort over a long distance walk. So do read up on their website, Superfeet, to see which one suits you. The green ones are the men's version, and the purple ones are the ladies' version. Now that just slides in, or if you're between sizes, you just trim it round your old footbed, so it's very easy to use, and you can see there's quite a bit of difference. And putting these on with these boots, I can then walk in the hills. I don't have to break the boot in, they just feel comfortable for me. So these work really well, and they're not cheap, but they transform your boot. So if you find a well-fitting boot that doesn't feel quite as comfortable as you'd hoped, then try a pair of those. And the last thing to talk about footwear wise is socks. Just putting your Marks and Spencer socks on isn't gonna cut it. So get some proper, sorry, I should have cleaned these a bit better first. Get some proper walking socks. I use these Bridgestyle socks, but there are other manufacturers about. There's some Smart Wool and some other ones. These just work well for me, and so I'll stick with them. They do a light one for summer, a mid-weight one for when you need. I wear these if I'm doing a long walk and I know that I'm might get sore feet. There's a bit more cushioning in the bottom, and then the winter version obviously is a bit warmer and for cold conditions, or if you suffer from cold feet. If you do suffer from cold feet, then I would recommend the thicker sock, as I know some of you even get cold feet in the summer, and this type of boot, because this combination, I've worn these for winter mountaineering when I want more comfort than these ones, and I've not suffered from cold feet with that combination. Right, so I hope this has been an informative couple of minutes of your time, and I'll just quickly show you the views, because we've had a little bit of snow today, but not much. It looks quite pretty out there, and well, I'm off to the hills for a wander round. Hopefully see you again soon.